Welcome to Excel and Finance video number 51. Hey, if you want to download this workbook for Chapter 6 or the PDFs for Chapter 6, click on the link directly below this video and then scroll way down to the Finance class section. Hey, in this video here, we want to talk about, last video we talked about how rates and prices for bonds are inversely related. That was our first principle of bond finance. Second principle of bond finance, bonds sell at par, discount, or premium. We talked a little bit about this, but let's talk about it in great detail here. Coupon rate, that's the rate that determines the cash flow, the interest payments. That's in the contract. It doesn't change. But yield to market, as we've talked about multiple times so far in this class, this is changing all the time. These are securities that can be traded in the financial market, so rates can change. When face equals the price, which means the face value is the amount of the loan written into the contract. In this example, that means our $1,000 face value will equal exactly the price. When that happens, the coupon rate is exactly equal to the yield to market. So 6% would be equal to 6%. We sell at par. Here, next situation, we have 6%. If yield to market goes up to 7, that means our face value is going to be greater than the price. And the reason why is no one in their right mind, if they could get 7% out in the market, would they come and get our 6%? So the face value, that means the contract amount, $1,000, will be greater than the price. So for example, $1,000 the face value, but we had to discount this bond, sell it for $875 to attract people to this lower rate. In this situation, the coupon rate is less than the yield to market. 6 is less than 7, sells at a discount. Opposite situation, coupon is 6, yield to market is 5. In this case, the face will be less than the par, right? So market's offering 5%, and our contract's offering 6. Everyone's going to rush in and want this larger rate, so we can charge a premium, right? So the face value will be less than, that's supposed to say price, not par. Just cross that out and put price. So the face is less than the price. In this situation, the coupon rate is going to be greater than the yield to market. Again, if our rate is greater than the market, we can sell it at a premium. In our case, 6 is greater than 5, recorded at a premium. All right, let's go look at some examples over in Excel. Actually, before we look at an example, here's a great chart that might be helpful, right? Here's the yields to markets, 6, 8, and 10. And notice when we compare these, the coupon rate in this example are all 8. But here it is. This is less than the coupon rate. So everyone's going to rush over here so we can record at a premium. When they're equal, it's recorded without a premium or discount, recorded at par. Now our market rate is much greater than our rate. There's no way people are going to come and take our contract that pays 8% unless we sell at a huge discount. Okay, so that's one helpful chart. Here's another potentially helpful chart. This is when you see the selling price, right? So any number below 1, it could sometimes you see 93, it's quoted at 93, sometimes it's 0.93, sometimes it's 93%. But anytime you see the price, the quoted price, less than 1, you have to record it at a discount. Remember, we take that 0.93 and multiply it by the face value of 1,000, so we get 930 bucks. So that is a discount. If it's exactly at 1, no premium or discount. If it's above 1, 107, again, you could see it all different ways. 107, 1.07, or 107%. You immediately know 1.07 times 1,000 bucks is more than the price is going to be greater than the face value, so you have to record at a premium. All right, over here, here's our situation. 10 years, we have N2. Coupon rate is 6, and our yield to market is 6. Oh, that sounds like par, right? Here's our discounting rate for our present value calculation, our number of periods, our two cash flows, annuity and face value. So let's go ahead and calculate our price. PV, our rate, we got to use our yield to market divided by our number of periods per year. NPER, we have 20 periods. Our PMT, from the point of view of the corporation, comma, face value, and the type is assumed to be end annuity, which this is, so we can leave that out, close parentheses. All right, now we want to do a little change in here, and let's bring this up to 7%. Notice, rate goes up, price must go down, right? Inversely related. And boom, boom, boom. So we have this comparison here, and we have a price, a discount price. All right, let's go ahead and change this to 5. So that's going to be less than this. Immediately this has gone down, so the price goes up. Now I want to show you how to make a formula here, because sometimes it is handy to have some words off to the side. So we want it to say par if they're selling at par, discount if it's selling at a discount, and premium if it's selling at a premium. All right, to do this, we're going to use the if function. So I'm going to type in equal signs because it's a formula, and then if. That's the name of this function. Here's how the if function works. You give it a logical test. It's some test like, is this number equal to this number? Or is this number greater than that number? That logical test comes out either true or false, and then you tell it what to put in the cell if it's true and what to put in the cell if it's false. Now, one note here, we only have 2 items to put. The if function only puts one of 2 things in a cell. We have 3 things, par, discount, and premium. So we're going to actually have to use 2 if functions. And the rule is if you have 3 things, 2 if functions. If you have 4 things, you have to use 3 if functions. If you have 2, you just use 1 if. All right, our logical test. Well, let's start off with the easy one first. And I'm going to say, is this one equal to, and I notice that this is negative, so I'm going to put a negative sign to convert it back to positive, because we need to compare both positives. All right, now, if the face and the price are the same, logical test either says true or false. So now we're going to type a comma, and if it's true, they're the same, what is the value we want? We want the word par, and words you have to put in double quotes. So PAR and double quote. Now, that's the value of true, comma, the value of false. Now we get here, and usually if you just have 2 things, you just put it there, whatever it is, and then that's your formula. But we have 2 things remaining. So anytime you still have more than 1 thing remaining, then you have to use a second if. Because right now, it needs to know, right? It knows what to put in the cell if it's equal, but there's still 2 things, discount and premium. So the next test is going to be, is the price greater than, and we have to do our negative again because that's negative, right? And we can see clearly what's the answer to this. Is 1,777 greater than 1,000? Yes. So we type a comma. You can see that's our logical test. We type a comma, and the value, if true, is what? Premium. So in quotes, premium. And if you're a bad speller and typer like me, you got to spell check while your formula is in edit mode, because it won't catch it if it won't. And you can just hit the F7 key. F7 is spell check. All right, now, comma, we get to our value of false. Well, how many things are left? There's just 1, so all we have to do is type discount. End double quotes. Now, close parenthesis, and you can see it's still green. We have to keep typing parentheses till we see a black one, and there it is. So that's our formula. I'm going to hit Enter. And now we could try this. Right now it's premium, but when I type in 6%, ooh, it says par. How about 7? Discount. Now notice the colors are changing. We used a true false here, right? The colors are determined by conditional formatting, which we're not going to do in this class. You could actually, if you're interested, you could search the Excel is Fun channel at YouTube for conditional formatting, and I have some great videos. All right, so that's a little bit about par, discount, premium. We did a little calculation, and we looked at some great diagrams to help us understand when to record at a premium, when to record at neither a premium or a discount, and when to record at a discount. All right, we'll see you next video.